Hey guys, happy Monday everybody. So today I'm going to do a get ready with me vlog, and I have no topic to specifically talk about. So I'll just probably mostly talk about the makeup and random stuff that pops into my head. I wanted to do the rose gold tutorial that I had on in, I think it was like my Friday favorites video, so that you guys could see how I did that. It's not really all that hard, so don't get too terribly excited about a fancy technique or anything. Right now I'm just evening out my lids, well, not even my lids because I got a little bit ahead of myself before I turned the camera on, but I'm evening out the rest of my eye area with Brulee from Wet n Wild. And I already put down my Maybelline Color Tattoo in Inked in Pink, so I just put that on my lids. And now I'm going to take a super fancy, super inexpensive shading brush, and this is just one from e.l.f. and it's apparently been used before and I haven't washed it yet, so I need to wipe it off a little bit. First thing I'm going to do is go in with the L'Oreal Infallible in Amber Rush. So this is just a single. And these actually apply best when you apply them with a finger, so I'm going to use my pinky and not use my brush. And I'm just going to pack that over where I placed the Inked in Pink. Now, in the look that I did in that favorites video, which if you haven't seen it, I will link it below, I didn't use the Inked in Pink underneath, so it's just going to be slightly more metallic than it was in that video, but basically the same concept, just a little bit more intensified. I can't get like my inner corner. Apparently I have a fat pinky. So I'm going to do that with a brush if I can. So I have a question for you guys. Have you noticed that you have not been getting like videos from certain people in your feed, or getting unsubscribed from people? Like this morning I was looking through and there were some people that I haven't seen videos from in a while, and I looked and like I've gotten unsubscribed to them, and it drives me bananas. Like this has been happening for like a few months and it's really, really irritating. So let me know if that has happened to any of you guys. Okay. I'm trying to think if you can see better when I'm doing it on this side, so maybe I'll save that eye for when I turn the camera off. Alright, so now that I have that down, I'm going to go ahead and go in with Penny from Wet n Wild and a blending brush, just a Sigma one. And I'm going to take that into my crease. So basically I just put it in my crease area, concentrated the color there, started to kind of move it in, and then brought it down onto the lid a little bit. The difference between these two is slight, but it's just enough to make it look a little bit different, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to go in with Satin Taupe from MAC, of course, and just with that same blending brush. So my friend Erica called this like a rosy taupe look, and that's totally what it is. A rose goldy taupe. And I'm concentrating that on my crease first. And again, because of the eye shape that I prefer for myself, I bring the crease color up a little bit more on the outer part of my eye. Probably starting about the halfway point, I start building it up beyond my crease to create a little bit of a cat eye effect. Then I'm going to take just a little bit more on that same brush and bring that down onto my lid, down to the lash line. And to help with some of the fallout, I'm just tapping it on there first and pressing it into the shadow that's already there. So then you've got something that looks like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my blending brush and take off anything that may still be on there from the brulee. And I'm going to essentially use that to soften the outer portion of the shadow so that there are no harsh lines. Okay, so then you've got that, and I do have some fallout, so I'm going to take care of that with just a big fluffy brush. I do already have the makeup on the rest of my face done, and I'll tell you guys what I have on the rest of this after I'm done doing the other eye. Okay, so I do want to bring a little bit of color underneath my lower lash line, and what I'm going to use for that is just a flat definer brush. If I can find it, there it is. And I'm going to use the Satin Taupe. Get that on there. Tap off the excess. And then run that along the lower lash line about 2/3 of the way in. Again, tap off or brush off that excess. And then I'm just going to use my Jordana 12-hour Made to Last eyeshadow pencil in Tenacious Brown. And just any matte liner will do. Any matte brown liner, I guess. And I'm just going to take that along the lash line. And I don't want a super thick line, I just want a little bit of definition along the lash line. Now this look is pretty shimmery. I know a lot of people like to mix mattes in when they're doing their eyeshadows on a daily basis. I can go either way. Like, I can use all shimmers and I'm totally fine with that, or I can use all matte, or I can use a combination of the two. I don't think that there are necessarily any rules. I would say that if your skin is a little bit more mature and you do have some crepiness around the eye, or your eyelids aren't very smooth, shimmer probably isn't going to be the best because it's going to emphasize that crepiness and that wrinkling that you have around your eyes. But it doesn't mean that you can't use it at all. You just have to be a little bit more sparing with it and stick mostly to matte shadows. But I think that you can definitely do both. So I've got a really thin line going there. And then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, do the other eye, do my brows, do my mascara, and then I will show you what I have on the rest of my face. Alright guys, so while I was finishing the other eye, I was kind of watching back the video footage from the earlier part of this video where I'm doing the tutorial. And I did a completely piss poor job of like showing you guys what I was actually doing. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a couple of minutes to actually face the camera and like restate or reiterate how I actually got this particular look. So the first thing that I did was I evened out my entire eye area with the Wet n Wild Brulee. I do that every single day once I get my eye primer on, and I did use the Too Faced Shadow Insurance in Lemon Drop. I always put this on first because it takes care of any redness or any veining that you might be able to see. So it just kind of neutralizes that area. And I just basically use a fluffy brush like this. This is just a Sonia Kashuk one. And I brush that on there just to even everything out and give me a clean slate. The second thing that I did was I used the Maybelline Color Tattoo in Inked in Pink, and everybody knows what this one looks like. And what I did is I just patted that on my lid with my pinky and basically worked it from the inner corner all the way to the outside. But when I started going towards the outside, about the halfway point of my eye, I worked it up past the crease just a little bit. And then I made sure to really kind of rub that in and thin it out a little bit, because this, once I put shadow on top of it, sometimes it can look kind of chunky, if that makes sense. Especially if you have kind of blotchy areas where you put the color tattoo down. So if you're going to be putting anything over top of this, I would definitely suggest shearing this out just a little bit more. Then the third thing that I did is I again took my pinky and my infallible eyeshadow from L'Oreal in the color Amber Rush. Again, put it on my pinky and then packed it all over my lid area. On the outer corner, I did go up a little bit past the crease, but not a ton. And I used my pinky again because I think with this particular type of shadow, because it's a lot more creamy, I have trouble getting it onto a brush, and it just seems to apply smoother and more evenly when I use my fingers. I normally don't like to use my fingers in my eyeshadow products because I think it's unsanitary. So always make sure that you have clean hands when you are doing something like this so that you're not transferring extra bacteria and stuff into your shadows. Then I went ahead and took Penny from Wet n Wild, which is a gorgeous color. If you don't have this, you should pick this up. It's 99 cents. It's totally worth having in your collection. For this, I did use a blending brush, and I essentially put it in my crease, down onto my lid, down to my lash line, but just on the outer corner of my eye. So I basically divided my eye in half, like where the middle of my iris is. And from there out, I packed it on my lid and then also up into the crease. Because of the shape that I like when I'm doing my shadow, I always take the outer portion of my crease up a little bit higher to create, like I said, a little bit of a cat eye effect. It's not anything super dramatic, but I don't like a super rounded look, so I really taper that when I go in and don't really have much come above my crease area on the inner corner. You can certainly do that if you like that shape a little bit more. It's just not really for me. Lastly, I took the famous MAC Shadow Satin Taupe, again on the same blending brush, into my crease over where I put the penny. And that might seem a little bit weird to cover it up, but the rosy glow from this shows through the satin taupe, and it really kind of transforms the color a little bit into that like rosy taupe color that I was mentioning earlier. So that is what it looks like. Now, last thing I did was I just took the same blending brush that I put all over, that I put brulee all over my eye area with, and I went around the outer portion of where the shadow starts to fade out a little bit, and I just kind of blended that to make sure that the gradation is like very smooth and doesn't look harsh. I really don't like harsh lines when it comes to makeup, at least on me. So I like to make sure that everything really kind of fades out nicely towards my brow bone. And then for my liner, I like to use these thicker pencils. These are not a must-have. I mean, if you like the thinner pencils, use a thinner brown. But I just did a really, really thin line where it's a little bit thicker on the outer corner and then fades into nothing where my lashes stop right here. So it's almost non-existent on this inner portion of my eye here. I didn't blend this out or anything. I just left the line kind of what it was. So hopefully you can see what that looks like. So that's it. It's not hard. It's basically like every other technique that I've used in my other tutorial videos. I just wanted you guys to see where I placed the color and how I blended them together. On the rest of my face, I do have my Sarah McNamara Skin Transformer on first. So this is kind of like my primer, I guess. It's sort of like a BB cream. It hydrates, it mattifies, it primes, it protects, it enhances. This is just a really great product. For my mineral foundation, I have my Everyday Minerals in Winged Butter. Over top of that, I have my finishing powder in Sunlight Finishing Dust from, again, Everyday Minerals. For my blush, it's also from Everyday Minerals today. It is the Everyday Minerals blush in Timeshare. Now this is a discontinued color, but this is essentially just a dusty plum, a dusty mauve plum color. Very, very pretty for fall, and this is matte. I did use a little bit of highlight down the bridge of my nose today, and it's just the Hard Candy Blush Crush Baked Blush in Pinup. Everybody knows what this looks like. And then for my brows today, all I used was my Anastasia Brow Pencil in Blonde, and this is the Perfect Brow Pencil, the one that you have to sharpen. On my lips, all I have is my L'Oreal Color Riche lipstick in Nude. Nude, where are you? Here's the nude. And it's just a pinky beigey nude, so, and that's it. I didn't even put gloss over top. So, that's it. I did do a tiny bit of contouring today, not a lot, and what I used was my Laura Geller Balance and Brighten in Medium, and the only reason I'm using this right now is because I'm trying to use it up. It is way too dark for using as my like mineral foundation, so I'm using it for contour, and it is working just fine for that. So I've probably got about a week or a week and a half left of this, and then I'll finally be done with it. So that is it. That is what I have on the rest of my face. Now I get to go dry my hair and get ready for the day. So if you are wondering what I have on my nails, it is Sally Hansen Insta-Dry in Wind Up. Like wind as in like wine. I'm drinking white wine or red wine. So this is a part of their permanent collection, so you can definitely find that there. I have had it on for a few days. I will say with these Insta-Dry Fast Dry polishes, they get a little bit dull after about the third or the fourth day. I haven't had any chipping because I use the Sinful Colors base coat, but just this particular polish, I noticed that in all of like the colors that I have, gets like dull. So it doesn't stay quite as shiny. You could fix that with a top coat, but I just don't care that much. So if you're picky about that, just a heads up about this particular formula. All right, so that is it for my video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, leave me questions down below, and I'm sorry that the beginning of this video was like the worst tutorial in the history of the world. Hopefully this little last explanation section that I recorded helps with that. Anyway, let me know if you try this look and what you think about it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.